Hello and welcome everyone to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Mo and this is my channel FPL Inkling, and today we're going to be going through my latest draft which I've made for this FPL season 2021-2022, and I'll be going through the reasons behind my decisions, why I've chosen these players and what my thought process is around setting this game week 1 team draft up. So before we begin, just going to go through the basics. If you've been here before and you come back again, thank you for returning. If it's your first time and you haven't subscribed just yet, hit that subscribe button, help me reach that 1k subscribers mark before the start of the season, which is only a few game weeks away. In addition, if you like the content, just give me a lovely little thumbs up on the thumbs icon and let me know how you found the content. So let's get along with it and let's tell you my team. So starting from the back, so we're playing a 4-4-2 formation, so Sanchez is going to be in goal. So Robert Sanchez is in goal at the moment from the total number of managers that have signed up to this game so far, so it's around 1.6 mil. 25.7% of managers have got Sanchez in goal. So that's a huge number of managers that have actually trusted him in terms of goalkeeping. So I've decided to go cheap and cheerful this season, pretty much similar to what I did last season with Martinez. Went at 4.5 and he kind of paid me my dividends by the end of the season. Just as before, as I've mentioned before, guys, he only played 2,413 minutes last season, so he didn't really play every single game. So when he did come in, he made a huge difference. 66 saves, and obviously you guys are aware that if a goalkeeper makes 3 saves in a match, they'll get 1 bonus point. So the more number of saves they make, so obviously from a team like Brighton, where in most games they will get the opportunity to have shots taken towards him, he should get hopefully a lot more save points as well. And he got 10 clean sheets, which was quite fabulous. And I watched him very closely in terms of how he performed individually. He did a fabulous job near the end of the season last season, and I think he was one of the vital roles why Brighton stayed up. So I'm having high hopes from him this season. My expectation isn't that, in terms of points wise, he got 101 last season. I'm kind of hoping anything between 140 to 150 will be definitely worthwhile, because obviously like premium goalkeepers, even if you see from previous seasons like Edison and Alisson, you're looking at even spending like £6 million, you're going to look around 150, 160, maybe 170 if that. I've never seen anyone go any higher in terms of goalkeeping over the last couple of seasons, so that's why I always tend to go for a cheaper option and use those spare funds elsewhere to boost up my squad along my outfield players basically. So 4 defenders at the back. Let's start with Trent. So in terms of Trent, again, he's owned by 27.4% of managers, 7.5 mil in price. Now, this guy is the premium defender. He's the most expensive defender in terms of price that's listed in the FPL game this season once again. And there's a very simple reason for that. This guy is an absolute threat machine for FPL in terms of returns. Obviously, they'll get clean sheets with Van Dijk back now, so I'm pretty hopeful in terms of this season they should go back to getting a few more clean sheets. I mean, even last season, they got 10. Without Van Dijk, they got 14 and 16 respectively the 2 seasons before. So it shows that Liverpool, despite having that kind of hiccup around the early part of New Year this year, they are still quite good in terms of keeping clean sheets. And what Trent brings to the table is he's on set pieces, he likes to take shots, he takes free kicks, corners, you name it, and he's got a real sharp mind. Take your mind back to that Barcelona corner that he took in the Champions League a couple of seasons ago. Phenomenal. This guy can think on his feet and he never misses an opportunity to ensure that he can get a goal or an assist for his team. So that's why I've got him in my squad. And in addition, even last season wasn't one of his greatest seasons. He got 160 points, which if you compare it to the season before was 210. That's correct. And you can see the huge disparity, whereas 8 assists compared to 15. But it wasn't his best season. He didn't do that well. In terms of Liverpool, it wasn't their best season either. So in my honest opinion, there's more to come from him with Van Dijk back. I think Liverpool generally, he's had the summer off in terms of injury from England. I think he'll be back, he'll be sharp, and he'll be raring to go for Liverpool itself. And let's look at their fixtures. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get as many Liverpool players as I could. So I've got 2 at the moment. Potentially I might look to bring in another 3rd one, but I've tried to play around with this draft and I don't really want to tinker too much with it, because I think this is pretty much almost nailed on to be my overall final draft. In case there's any more transfers that take place, that may change my mind. But looking at the fixtures, they play all 3 promoted teams within the first 8 game weeks. And they start off at Norwich, Burnley, followed by Chelsea, which is a difficult game at Anfield, Leeds away, Crystal Palace, Brentford away, Man City at home, followed by Watford away, Manchester United away, and then Brighton and Hove Albion in game week 10. So that's a lot of points that potentially he can pick up, not only from clean sheets, but also setting them up in terms of assists or goals as well. So that's why I've chosen him. I was tempted to look at potentially Robertson, who's half a mil cheaper, either Van Dijk, who's a mil cheaper compared to him, but I just couldn't. I went into last season and the season before without Trent, and I live to regret it. So one of my kind of like things is with the fixtures lined up, it's kind of 100% swayed me to consider him and bring him in. And if it doesn't work out well, I do have other options. As I mentioned, Trent can be replaced by Robertson or Van Dijk. That shouldn't be a problem. My second defender is Wesley Fofana. So owned by 25% of managers, comes in at a bargain price of 4.5 mil. I genuinely believe that this season he'd be around 5, if not 5.5. He plays in the defence of Leicester itself, so I think Leicester might go back to 3 at the back and then 2 wing backs as well. That's looking like the setup they're going to go for, but we'll have to wait and see with Brendan Rodgers. Pretty much nailed on to play every single game. He only got 71 points last season with only 1 assist now. He may not stand out in terms of goal returns, but it's only 1 season for us to go by. It can change this season. Why not get a 4.5 mil defender into your squad, which you know will play week in, week out. And for a defence like Leicester, they are pretty solid. 7 clean sheets for him, and he didn't play the entire season. If they can boost that up to maybe 10 or 12, I think that's a job done for me in terms of a 4.5 million defender at the back. And in terms of fixtures, they're not looking too bad either. Barring West Ham away, which is game week 2, I think that should be manageable for Leicester. Man City at home, game week 4, they beat them 5-2, I think, or 5-1 last season, away at the Etihad. So they can play the big teams as well, especially at home in their own patch. They are very, very, very good to watch at their home stadium. They got Norwich away in game week 3, Brighton at Hove Albion, Burnley, Crystal Palace. So a lot of points potentially available from clean sheets. And if he does get an odd goal return and some bonus points, it should be a good job done for us as well. So that's why I've chosen Wesley Fofana as my second defender so far. At number 3, I've chosen Vladimir Kozlov. Now, he had a great season, in my opinion. I watched him very closely for West Ham. Surprisingly, he's priced at 5 mil, which was, for me, I think that was quite low than what I was anticipating. I was thinking 5.5 potentially for him, but 5 mil, absolute bargain again. I had to bring him into my draft. 16% of managers have got him already. He plays right back for West Ham themselves. 128 points last season, 9 assists, which is phenomenal for a defender. And for West Ham as well, they got Cresswell as well, but he's half a mil more expensive. So I decided to go for him in this option to use that half a mil elsewhere further up in my pitch to boost to my squad. So I've gone for Kozlov. Got 12 bonus points last season, and their fixtures for me, there's 2 reds in there, but I think they're pretty tasty for a West Ham perspective. Newcastle, first game, I think should be manageable. Leicester at home, should be a challenging game. Crystal Palace, Southampton, and then they've got Manchester United, Leeds, Brentford. So not too bad. I'd say a 50-50 start. Again, potential for clean sheets, and if you can get an assist or 2, which should be a good start for me in terms of Kozlov as well. And last but not least is Luke Shaw, the highest owned player in terms of a defender so far. 46% of managers have him. 5.5 mil. Again, I think he's a bargain. So I've gone for pretty much all the bargain options, not in the sense that they're cheap, in the sense of, what I thought they would be priced at to what they have been valued by the FPL game so far this season. I expected him not to be 5.5, honestly. I thought he would be around the 6 million mark, even 6.5, because he's had such a good season last season in terms of his kind of overall showing. Plus the Euros, he had a really good Euros as well. So for me, I had to get him in. Obviously the Man United affiliation as well. Putting that aside, he has played extremely well, and there is a need for him to be in your squad. So 124 points last season, which was his best FPL tally since he's joined in 2012-2013. 5 assists and 1 goal. He does take corners, he does take free kicks. He does like to go down the line and get into the box and play that ball. He's not even shy of a shot, as you guys see in the European League final, the game that we saw a couple of weeks ago. He does like to get forward now, and he's getting back to his kind of full sharp fitness. He's getting a bit more fitter. His runs are there. He's got the vision, and I think now with like Sancho and Bruno Fernandes and Greenwood and Martial and Cavani, he will be lethal. That's what differentiates him to Van Bissaka. Van Bissaka is really good defensively, good tackles, but from an FPL perspective, he does get the assists, but I think there's so much more for Van Bissaka to offer. I will keep a lookout between these two, but for now, Luke Shaw is in my squad. There is a bit of a rib injury doubt at the moment whether he'll be available for game week 1, which is against Leeds, but we'll have to wait and see. And if it is the case, I'm just going to swap him for Van Bissaka. In terms of fixtures, I think United have one of the best fixtures going into the first part of the season. Leeds at home, followed by Southampton, Wolves, and then Newcastle, followed by West Ham United. So I think, potentially there's some free kicks there potentially he could take, or corners for assists. Could be some clean sheets there for them to have. United did have a good season last season in terms of keeping clean sheets. They kept 10 in terms of when he was playing, in terms of Luke Shaw. So that's why I've chosen him, and that's my backline, guys. Now, moving on to the midfield. Now, my captain for game week 1, as I'm sure for most managers in FPL this season, will be Mo Salah. So he's already selected by around 49%, or just over 49% of managers. Rightly so. He's 12.5 million in price. Now, he's the most expensive player, along with Harry Kane, in the game listed this season. Got 231 points, so he was last season's third highest point scorer. 28 returns, guys, 22 goals, 6 assists, and he got 231 points, which, in the last 3 seasons, he's got over 200 points. And if you put it into 2017-18, he got 300 points. He's hit over 200 points mark every season for the last 4 seasons. So there's a reason why he's that price. He likes to go forward. He likes to take it on himself. Yes, he's a bit selfish at times, I admit that, but he's always a goal threat, guys. And obviously we've gone through the fixtures in terms of Trent. They're playing in the first 8 game weeks, they're playing 3 of the 3 promoted sides from the Championship. So I do believe there's some really big holes to have. So I think, barring game week 3, where I may change my captain, and maybe game week 7, I think barring the other, 5 game weeks out of 7, he's pretty much nailed on to be my captain. The next midfielder is Bruno Fernandes, so the highest point scoring player from last season's FPL. Around 40.6% of managers already own him. It's not a surprise whatsoever. He comes in at 12 mil, so slightly cheaper than Salah. And he got 18 goals and 14 assists last season, giving him a tally of 32 returns for FPL. That's really amazing, considering that's almost a return every game. If you tally up 38 games, he's that good, and he's that much of an asset. So I really, with the fixtures that we've already discussed of Manchester United already, I really can't see myself, especially in the first 5 games, going without Bruno. Yes, there's Sancho as well. Do I want to double up on him yet? That's the dilemma I have. But in terms of Bruno, he's definitely in, and he's staying as vice captain for the first game week. Now, the next player is my third midfielder. It's going to be Son. So Son and Sancho is where the biggest dilemma I've had. So from my previous video, you've already seen, I already discussed the pros and cons of between the two. Yes, Sancho comes in half a mil cheaper, but at 10 mil, I still think that's a really good price for Son. Let's say Kane does leave Tottenham and goes to Man City, he will be the penalty taker. In terms of his returns, there's going to be highly likely it's going to be more in terms of goals as well. Obviously, there's not too many penalties over a course of a season, but every point matters, and that's where I think this will stand out. Because you've got someone like a Kevin De Bruyne. Let's say if Kane goes over to Man City at 12 mil for De Bruyne, not on penalties. It's just a cost-benefit analysis there. So that's the reason why I've gone for Son as a moment. And even if he doesn't stay on penalties and Kane stays, he's still a really good asset. So last season was like the first season where we actually got to see him play over 3,000 minutes, and he got over 200 points for the first time. So due to injuries or stuff, he hasn't really completed a whole season, but it shows that the talent this guy has. He's an absolute machine when it comes to FPL, and 10 mil of your budget on this guy, he won't let you down. So 28 returns, as I mentioned, 17 goals, 11 assists, and he got 26 bonus points, guys. In terms of fixtures, obviously it's not ideal. A lot of people are being put off by the Man City home fixture. That's why he's only at 15.3%. I pretty much assure you, if that would have been like a green coloured difficulty fixture, someone like a Watford or a Crystal Palace, which is in game week 3 and 4, that could have been significantly higher in terms of ownership. But remember, guys, we're setting a team up for as long as possible, not just for game week 1. So obviously there might be some players who won't have the easiest of fixtures, but we want to see what we can do, because you don't want to make too many transfers in game week 1 into game week 2 where you end up spending like 4 transfers which cost you 12 points. That's no use, because if you've made those 12 points elsewhere, you're pretty much going to go back to square one, and that's not what the aim of the game is. So be patient, let them ride and let them see how they perform, because he's done it before. He's done it against big teams. Just need to go back and see the Liverpool goal he scored last season at Anfield in December. This guy always plays on the edge with the last defender. He'll run at the goalkeeper, and he's got a lethal finish. His expected goal finish, I think I read somewhere, was absolutely immense. So this is why he's in my squad. I've gone for the proven, tried and tested. And if Sancho gets off to a brilliant start, there's nothing stopping me from getting him into my squad. Not even for Son. I might even make other transfers. But for now, I'm sticking with Son, and I think we can do a good job. Because after that, he's got Wolves, Watford, Crystal Palace. Yes, he's got Chelsea and Arsenal. But the London derbies, anything can generally happen. And he's kind of like the best in terms of being a threat-wise. He was in a bang average performance side of Tottenham last season, and him and Harry Kane kind of carried the whole team along there. So that's why he is that vital to me, and that's why he's in my squad for the first game week, guys. Now, to my fourth midfielder, I'm going Jack Harrison, 160 points last season. He's only owned by 5.3% of managers at present. A lot of people have gone Rafinha. Now, the stats are pretty similar in terms of points per game. I think the difference is like 0.01, so it's not that significantly difficult or different. So 8 goals and 10 assists, which is not bad. Plays on the left, pretty much will play every single game. And with the setup Leeds have, their mentality is always positive with Bielsa. That's why he was nailed on for me to come into my squad. And that's why I chose him over Rafinha. Because, Rafinha has his benefits, no doubt, but I don't have that $500,000. If I was to make a change on Son, then obviously I can go down to Sancho and bring in Rafinha. But Harrison's a very good replacement for me. Yes, they've got some difficult fixtures until game week 4. 3 out of the 4 ain't that great, but he's not a defender, so I'm not too concerned. You can get me some attacking returns, fabulous. United at Old Trafford, followed by Everton, Burnley, which should be a good game, Liverpool. But then after that, some really fruitful fixtures where I think I can really take advantage of Jack Harrison being in my squad. So they've got Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves and Norwich. So some really good fixtures, barring the first 3 out of 4. And that's why Jack Harrison is in my squad. The next is we're moving on to my strikers. I'm having 2 strikers in my squad, guys. So Patrick Bamford is my first striker, owned by around 17.4% of managers, 8 million price. He got 194 points last season, guys. 17 goals, 11 assists. Now, the reason why I've chosen Bamford, now there's options such as Calvert-Lewin, who has a better fixtures in terms of the first 8 to 10 game weeks compared to Bamford. Now, one of the things I thought about Bamford generally is along with Calvert, it's nothing wrong with Calvert-Lewin at all. He had that amazing spell at the start of the season, but then for a large part of the season, he did go quiet. Whereas Bamford, he kind of kept it sustained. That's why I've chosen to trust Bamford with Bielsa, because his setup was there already last season. And with the service from Rafinha, Harrison, Dallas, they're going to be aggressive. However, if you look at Everton, new manager Benitez, I have high expectations. I want to see how they run. And if they do get off to a good start and Calvert-Lewin shows some form, it'll be a straight swap itself. But again, at United, I don't think they're going to lie low. I think they will go for some shots, and Patrick Bamford's on penalties as well. That's another big thing which puts me towards Bamford rather than DCL. And I think the best thing I thought about Bamford last season, he's not selfish, he does like to pass, and that's why he got 11 assists as well, guys. So it's not just the 17 goals which kind of caught my eye, it's the 11 assists, and that's the reason why he kind of stood out for me in terms of Calvert-Lewin. But again, people have their own choices. I've chosen Bamford, and yes, they have some difficult fixtures up front, but when he does get going, believe me, I'll be looking into cash in the money I've invested in him. And last but not least, my last striker is Ollie Watkins. 34.8% of managers have already got him. Good preseason few games last couple of days ago. 2 goals he scored. 7.5 million price, which I think is quite reasonable. I was predicting around 8 mil this season, but I'll take that. That's why he's in my squad. 168 points with 14 goals and 9 assists. Honestly, this guy was so unlucky. The amount of times he hit the bar or the post last season, he easily could have hit 18, 19 goals. But that's not meant to be. Hopefully bigger and better things to come this season. And in terms of fixtures wise, the first 3 games are really good. So Watford, Newcastle, Brentford, so 2 of the 3 promoted sides they're playing. And he's got, if Grealish is still here, got Traore and Bundia coming in now, El Ghazi. These are going to be the players, who's going to kind of be providing him, the ammunition to hopefully finish off and get the goals and assists that he can deliver on the big stage. Now, from game week 4 all the way to game week 7, there's some very difficult fixtures of Chelsea, Everton, Manchester United and Tottenham. Now, based on last season, there's no reason why Villa can't get a good result. They beat Liverpool 7-2. So there's no reason why they can't, or I think it was around that last season, there's no reason why they can't do that on the big stage. So let's wait and see. So from Ollie Watkins, I do have high expectations. They may not win those games, but he might have a contribution of a goal or an assist in him. And that's the reason why I've chosen him there. So that's my squad, guys. That's my 11 on the outfield. In terms of the bench, I've got Foster in goal. He's not going to be playing much for Watford. You've got Bissouma, who will get the odd 2-pointer, and then Manculia from Newcastle and Davis, who I don't expect to feature much in it as well. So I've gone quite heavy into my 11. I don't really want to spend too much on my bench. I've got Bissouma to cover me if there's an injury or anything along those lines, or someone gets benched. But that's my 11, guys. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Do you agree with my squad? Do you like the squad I've made? Do you think there are loopholes or there's some weaknesses that I can actually, change or make it better? Let me know your thoughts. In terms of general, overall look to this side, are these the players that you're looking at? Are some of the players that you're looking at I haven't discussed? Let me know. In addition, guys, I have put a tweet out in regards to drafts. So I'm looking to make a video in regards to rating your draft. So feel free to tweet me, just message me privately with your team name, your draft itself. Send me the screenshot which looks like this so I can see the team and the bench, how you're going to line it out, and then I can hopefully make a video and include your drafts and rate them and give them my opinions around how I feel that these drafts are great, or if I can improve them. Let me know how I can help you guys out. So let me know what you thought of this video, guys. Give me a thumbs up. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, guys, help me get to that 1K. Hit that subscribe button, join the FPL Inkling family, and let's grow together, because this is the place to get the best and latest FPL news and the best content that you'd like to see. League code's at the bottom, guys. Pop that in, join the FPL league code and the FPL Inkling League on the game itself, and let's have a great season of FPL. Have a great one, and I'll see you back with some more content. See you soon.